What happens when someone can't even roleplay to save their own life? Let me describe the situation. A few years ago, I was playing in a Pathfinder Skull and Shackles campaign. My character was the captain of our ship, and we all had a really great time playing. All of us except for one player who I'll call Mitch. Mitch was playing a fledgling Knife Master rogue designed almost entirely around combat. That was fine. We had other characters, like mine, that were more social focused, and we did run into a good bit of combat, both from encounters from the adventure path itself and from side quests the DM threw at us. Mitch was also a guy in his mid-30s and had been playing D&D and Pathfinder for a good 10 years. Mitch had one problem though. He hated it whenever another character out-damaged him in combat. If our swashbuckler hits a crit streak and manages to down more bad guys than him, he would sulk and after the game swear the DM was out to get him. If his character snuck off and got into a mess and almost died, well again, the DM was out to get him. He also hated that his character wasn't made captain, even though he had all the charisma of a turnip. Just to keep him from complaining too much, we made his character first mate, mostly because the first mate didn't have much to do specifically aboard the ship, so he could do the least damage to the crew in that role. After several months of hearing him bellyache about how useless his character was, despite demolishing most monsters we encountered, and how much better he'd be at planning out things, I finally had enough. We knew of a treasure map owned by a wizard who happened to be out of town for a while, and we wanted to steal it. This was right up the alley of a sneaky rogue, right? I made a big show of letting Mitch plan out the heist, telling him he had the entire resources of the ship and crew at his disposal. We had about 2 weeks in-game to plan and execute, and Mitch had a real-life week to plan, along with a whole pack of info from the DM about what we could see from the outside of the wizard's estate. There were no obvious ways to get into the estate other than the main gate, and there were a number of guards visible patrolling the grounds. Mitch complained for the entire week he had to plan about how unfair the situation was. There was no way in. The DM was making it too hard because he was the one planning it, except the DM had planned out the adventure weeks prior with no way of knowing Mitch would be put in charge, and said that his character stinks, so he'd fail no matter what he did, even though he had a stealth high enough to sneak past gods. The next game night, the heist was on. Mitch decided to completely ignore all of the crew and all of the other PCs except our swashbuckler. His brilliant plan was to climb the wall. Just climb over the wall while the guards weren't looking in the dead of night. Okay, sure. High stealth, high dex, high acrobatics characters sneaking in like that was certainly possible. They get over the wall, and now they're in the main courtyard of the estate. Mitch heads to the first building nearest to him, the guard barracks. He and the swashbuckler sneak inside and find guard uniforms in the entry vestibule. So far, so good. This is actually going better than we all expected. With the uniforms, they should be able to sneak into the main manor and get to the treasure map easy peasy. Just maybe a disguise or a stealth roll or two at most. But oh no, Mitch has other plans. He cajoles the swashbuckler into sneaking into the actual barracks with him to pretty much take out all the sleeping guards there. The DM warned him that this could backfire. One missed stealth roll and they could wake up a room full of guards. But Mitch wouldn't be persuaded. He gets the swashbuckler to start on one end and he starts on the other, and they go about taking the sleeping guards out one by one. And after 2 guards, the swashbuckler rolls a 1 on her stealth roll. One of the guards stirs in his sleep, sees the swashbuckler standing over his fellow guard with a dagger in hand, and starts screaming when she takes the guy out. Oh boy, now it's on. The swashbuckler runs from the room as quick as she can, but gets caught up by guards rushing in from outside. She wisely chooses to surrender. Mitch, however, made it out first and is now being chased by a group of guards. They begin flanking him, and archers begin firing on him as he nears the walls. He wants to try to jump over the wall, the 20-foot high wall that he used a rope and grappling hook to go over initially. Nope, not happening. He is now backed up against the wall, facing 24 very angry guards and a dozen archers, all trained on him. So, my character dies, he says. The DM shakes his head. No, you can survive. You just need to roleplay this. Okay, Mitch replies. What do I roll for that? Everyone at the table goes silent and looks at Mitch. He's holding a D20 in his hand. We all burst out laughing. Everyone but Mitch, of course, who thinks we're all being unfair and laughing at him. We were, but still. Do I roll diplomacy or something? He shouts. I mean, it depends on what you say, the DM explains. What are you saying to these angry folks with spears and bows pointed at you? I don't know, he says. Can't I just roll? No. I don't know what you'd roll unless you tell me how you're trying to get out of this. The DM is trying to be patient, but he's gotten tired of Mitch's constant whining too. Which one is the best for this? He asks. The DM shakes his head. No. You have to tell me how you're convincing the guards not to kill you. Well, I guess my character just dies then, Mitch says, sulking. We all look at him, everyone being quiet because we've all gotten tired of this complaining too. The DM sighs. Look, can't you just tell me what you want your character to do? Climb the wall, Mitch says. The DM shakes his head. You're not being fair, he shouts. You can't climb up. They would just spear you from behind. You have to roleplay this out, the DM says again. I don't know what to roll for that, Mitch shouts. Now he's getting testy, and the rest of us are about to step in when he says, I take out my knife and slash my own throat so they don't get to kill me. Everyone stops. The DM looks at him. Are you sure that's what you want to do? It's clearly the only thing I can do, he snaps back. The DM sighs, looks at all of us, and continues on. Okay, you slash your own throat. As a knife master, you know right where to cut. As you bleed out, the guards look at you with a mix of horror and revulsion, confused why you wouldn't even try to surrender to them. Mitch gets up from the table, takes his stuff, and leaves. Over the course of the next week, he complains on our group chat that the DM, who was not on chat, had it out for him and made the entire scenario impossible. We all try to explain to him that the swashbuckler survived. She surrendered and was put in the estate's dungeon, and we were all going to rescue her next game. Mitch repeatedly claimed the DM gave him no way out and no options. Eventually, we just let him rant for a few days and waited for him to roll up a new character, an almost carbon copy of his previous character. His new character is introduced in the next game session, and the first thing he asked, can I have my old character's gear and money? So yeah, this guy seems capable of one thing and one thing only, wargaming. It's unfortunate when you put all your real-life skill points into focusing on numbers and none in being social. Once again, the idea of playing a single-player RPG video game is much different than playing a cooperative tabletop RPG. Will he learn something from this? Well, I guess you're gonna have to check out the second part on ZFloggle's channel to find out. As always, before you go, what do you all think about this situation?